Early voting is now underway in Ada County. It's open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Kuna City Hall or at the Ada County Elections Office on Benjamin Street in Boise. The only thing on the Ada County ballot is the Kuna school bond this time around. The $111 million bond would fund renovations and additions to several schools and construction of a bus facility. Ada County Elections Director Saul Seiler is here with us today to talk about early voting. Saul, first of all, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
So, in an election like this, where there's one thing on the ballot, only people in the Kuna School District can vote, how many people are you expecting to take part in early voting?
Well, we're hoping for 10 to 15% of turnout, which in this instance, there's about 18,000 voters that are eligible for this election. So that would put us right around the 2,000 to 2,500 range.
When you broaden this out to bigger elections and things like that, what are your thoughts on early voting, absentee voting, in terms of the importance of it in the system?
Well, I really appreciate that question. It's very important for us as an election office because it just allows people another way to vote. Election day can be a stressful time for a lot of folks. So being able to get out on your own schedule a couple of weeks early really makes a difference. Also, if someone knows that they're going to be working or something along those lines on election day, it really helps in terms of people voting. Lastly, I would say it helps actually our polling place management because the more people that vote early or absentee kind of reduces the election
Don't have that
day.
crush on election day.
Reduces the stress a little bit.
Are you seeing with this Kuna school bond election a good, healthy turnout for absentee ballots?
Right now, we're seeing actually very good turnout for both absentee and early voting. We're about 65% above our early voting statistics normally, and absentee-wise, we're actually very high as well. We're seeing higher turnout in absentee than we are in early voting right now.
Really? Are you seeing any trends on the type of voter?
Yeah, interestingly enough, this cycle we are seeing younger voters voting absentee. So a lot more folks in the 30 to 50 age range are selecting to vote absentee this election.
How do people vote early? What do they need to do?
Sure, great question. So when you go to the polls, I think the biggest thing is making sure that you have your ID. It can be your driver's license, that's the easiest, but a federal ID can work as well, some other options. So be ready with that. You can always register to vote if you're not registered to vote. So if you do want to register to vote at early voting, you can go to one of our two sites, which is the Kuna City Hall or the election headquarters on Benjamin. On Benjamin, correct. And there you would need a proof of ID, so a valid ID, as well as a proof of residence, such as a phone bill.
So people who do vote absentee, when do they need to get their ballots back in for this March 14th election?
So for absentee voters, you can still request an absentee ballot up until Friday at 5 p.m. That can be done online or in person. But in terms of getting the ballot in, you need to do that by 8 p.m. on election day.
Okay, so this Friday is the last day to request one.
This coming Friday, the 3rd, is the last day to request an absentee ballot.
All right. It's all great information. Really appreciate it, and see how the turnout ends up being on March 14th.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. And early voting is also open in Canyon County, and several counties in our area have school bonds and levies up for a vote. More information on what is on your ballot can be found in our voter guide on ktvb.com.